Lionel Cat. Shout out to the Sweet Pea Diaries, and most importantly, shout out to y'all Mars fan for tapping. This is Martin Lawrence put a gag order on Tisha Campbell. What really happened to Martin and Gina? This is a great topic for the simple fact that I used to watch Martin a lot, like a lot. Even remember when my mom had the DVDs to the shit. So it's like, and then I remember in the last few episodes, they wasn't really in the same like room. They was always like different scenes and stuff like that. And I always wondered what happened. And then later down the line, rest in peace to Tommy from Martin, rest in peace to him. He passed away and stuff like that. And that kind of made them come back together and all that. But we ain't gonna talk too much. We're gonna get straight into the video.
Martin is one of the most beloved and popular TV sitcoms in history. Spanning 5 seasons with over 132 episodes, the show chronicled the adventures of a group of friends living in Detroit. Our radio DJ Martin, his girlfriend Gina, Gina's best friend Pam, and Martin's 2 best friends, Cole and Tommy. Martin was groundbreaking in its content and its all-black cast. It became a fixture in many households and dominated television consistently for 5 years. But despite its success and fairly strong ratings, the show came to an end in 1997. There were many rumors as to why the show ended. Some say the cast members were fighting amongst each other, and others say that the cast has simply grown tired of the show. But allegations of sexual harassment made by Tisha Campbell seem to be what many think actually led to the show coming to an end.
Yeah. Excuse me. But some people saying Martin was on drugs. You had some people saying he would come to the show high. Stuff like that. I don't know how true it is though.
In this video, we uncover what really happened to Martin and Gina. Before Fox Network became the conservative powerhouse that it is today, its programming model operated on a different wavelength. The network found success and relevancy in the influence of the hip-hop generation. Shows such as In Living Color, Living Single, and New York Undercover were instrumental in making Fox a powerhouse network in the 90s. Looking to add to its arsenal of shows to further cater to the hip-hop generation, Fox saw the allure of comedian Martin Lawrence and felt like he was the heir to the throne, the modern-day Richard Pryor. He was an energetic and explicit comedian.
What y'all think about that comment, modern-day Richard Pryor? What y'all think about that?
With big screen experience, whose comedy routine worked just as well in an intimate setting and on TV.
This coming fall, Martin. I liken it to Coming to America, where you play a lot of different characters and sometimes you interact with yourself. Yeah. And I'm saying, how is Martin gonna do this every week, right? And I watched the pilot. Homie pulls it off. I mean, and that Shanae character?
Yeah.
He plays a girl across the hall, right?
Yeah, she lives next door to me, but it's the roundaway girl, the neighborhood LL Cool J's roundaway girl, the girl with the earrings, and the young girls that always have the hairdo and just know how to coordinate everything that they dress, and just got much attitude. How you doing, Arsenio? How you doing? Look at Arsenio, he look good, don't he?
Everybody know her.
I mean, you know that girl, man.
Yes.
And then, you get, and don't speak, like if a roundaway girl come up to you and you say hello and you don't speak, oh my goodness. I said, I know you ain't gonna try to not speak with your little tall self. He make me sick.
Yo, it's funny and good how he could just do it like right on the spot.
I love that girl, man.
Yeah.
I love him, man. I can't date him though.
Really?
I just can't date him because, you can take him to a restaurant, man. You want something to eat? Oh, okay, do they got French fries here?
That's a 5.
However, Martin questioned the network's commitment to providing opportunities to entertainers of color, saying, Fox should reflect the diversity of Black life instead of putting out the same show with different titles. I've never met Rupert Murdoch or Lucy Salhani, who are the heads of Fox, but I bet Tom and Roseanne Arnold know the heads of the company that they work for. So Martin, along with John Bowman and Topper Carew, are credited as the creators of the show. But what many do not know is that the show is actually based off of a real DJ from Detroit.
All right, it's 313 Day, and this is a Detroit legend. Every time I come to Detroit, I always go see Mr. Mason.
My man,
Kobe. But y'all didn't notice that Mason is the inspiration for Martin's character in the Martin show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a big-time radio personality. And tell them about some of your characters that you did on radio that ended up on the TV show.
Well, I'll start with with Tommy.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was an attorney named Ray Page. If you ever go on Google and Google the picture, you'll see him. You go, oh, I see how they put that together. And Ray was about 6'4". And Ray had a magnetic personality. And when he saw me walking with the producers and stuff, he didn't know what it was.
Right.
He's like, Maze, you didn't come to the bar last night. I got the drinks ready for you. So they enjoyed that character and took that one. And then I did some characters on air. I did a gay character called Deucey,
Right.
who was a Mr. Know-It-All, very hip, that whole thing. And they turned that character into Shanae. And then I did an old man character called, and I simply called him the old man, but he knew everything and took care of everything. And they turned that character into Otis, the security guard for the Martin show. So it was a few.
So at that time, you were like a big personality in Detroit. You were still a big personality in Detroit. So the producers came to you from Martin and followed you around?
Yeah, they followed me around for about 5 weeks. And the funny thing, my celebrity was just growing. I didn't have a car. We had to walk. So there was a Chinese restaurant across from the apartment that you see in Martin that was easy for me to get to walking. And so they used that apartment because I was trying to take them inside of a radio station. Our station was a long way away downtown. But there was a radio station next to that apartment complex. And they wanted to see inside the station. We couldn't get in. So they took the apartment complex and used that in the show.
And then you actually appeared on the show when they had a bunch of radio DJs.
I appeared on the show when they had a bunch of radio DJs, and we were all standing in a long line to go in. They gave Tom Joyner the talking part. But Kim Fields comes through the line and goes, get out of that line. This is your show. It's about you. We're going to go see Topper Carew.
I didn't even know. I thought that was just Martin idea. Like, I didn't know that was actually based off a whole true, you know what I'm saying? A whole true story.
Right now. So she takes me in, and we go see Topper, and Kim is going off about it's his show. The whole thing's patterned after him. You're letting him do this, and he can't just walk through. You got to put him in episodes. Topper's going, well, we don't have a contract in place like that. So that's kind of how that fell through the cracks. At that time, radio people did not appear on television like that outside of their markets. So they were talking about California. I'm living in Detroit. And the people who were running the station panicked and tried to keep it under control because in this particular market, it was contract time for me. And there was something going on with a former television star by the name of Danny Bonaducci, who was on the Partridge Family.
Yeah, he was in Philadelphia.
He was in Philly. So they had to pay Danny in this market, and they paid him more than me, but my ratings were way bigger than Danny's, and that was going to cause an issue. So they tried to downplay the TV thing for me. And that's how.
So throughout your life, when people find out about it, I mean, that song was so that the show was so impactful. So, you know, you didn't really get a piece of the action off of that.
Didn't get a piece of the action. Didn't get any trademarking, use of content.
That's crazy.
Character.
That's crazy.
None of that. Didn't get anything.
Shanae, Otis, Tommy.
Yeah.
Any particular episodes that stand out that you gave them inspiration on? Like an episode of something that happened?
Well, obviously they used me in the first episode. At least not. They used the characterization of a caller calling into the station saying, Mason, Mason, Mason. And Martin's going, Mason ain't here. Mason ain't here. So that was about as close as I got.
So they fired you on the show and stole your idea.
Absolutely. And they got rich and Martin became a superstar.
He became a star.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
And here's one little other close insight. Radio personality, world famous comedian D.L. Hughley actually auditioned for it first.
I fuck with D.L. Hughley.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't see him doing that character.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
Because you were, I remember listening to you, like getting tapes of you when I was in Philly, and you were just wild and crazy. Like, it's so weird, surreal when you think about what Martin was doing.
Right.
But you were doing all of that on the radio every day in Detroit. I mean, you was a god here. Like, you ran the city.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and we ain't done. We got one more crazy thing to do, and I can't wait for you to know about it. It's coming up, though.
But you still famous in Detroit. Say why you famous in Detroit.
Oh, because I'm in the NBA, Detroit basketball, and of course, Bullets.
Yep.
That's made me famous again.
The Legend Mason. What's your social media so people can follow you, man?
313 Mason. I'm on everything. You'll find me. You hit that, you'll find it.
It's 313 Day, man. This is a Detroit
Okay,
legend.
shout out to
Bless you.
Detroit.
313. We still live in the D.
Now, Martin already had his leading lady in mind to play his girlfriend. After working with Tisha Campbell in other projects, he told Tisha that if he ever got his own opportunity at a movie or a show, she was going to play his girlfriend.
Yo, would y'all like, let's say, for example, you in a relationship, would you let your partner do something like this? Like with acting and all that? Let me know. And on top of that, is it true that Will Smith slept with what's his name, Dwayne Martin? I'm sorry, I couldn't. I swear I couldn't. I couldn't, bro. Y'all could say insecure. Y'all could. Well, I don't care. I could. I fucking could. I'm sorry.
Martin premiered when African American life and culture was under the microscope. It was a post-Rodney King and LA riots America. The show celebrated hip, youthful blackness. Martin, a radio DJ at Detroit's fictional Was Up, and Gina, an advertising account executive, were the epitome of black love. The show was a success from its start, averaging 11 million viewers in its first season. A common theme of the series was Martin's selfish but free-spirited nature. Episodes often centered on his inappropriate behaviors and smart mouth towards his friends, neighbors, and whoever else found themselves in his presence. But when it was all said and done, Martin loved his family and his friends.
Have you seen this, Martin?
I have.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
Isn't it? Yeah. Well, our next guest plays the vibrant and energetic Gina on Martin. She's stolen not only Martin's heart, but the rest of America as well. Here she is, the multi-talented Tisha Campbell. Tisha. So you're the lady who took Martin's heart, huh?
That's right. Hey, it's so nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, too. Thank you.
What do we have, the layered look today?
Yeah, this is the layered look.
I like that.
Thought I'd do that.
Yes,
It's kinda
hanging
cool.
out the shirt. See what I'm saying?
That's what you need.
That's, you know what? Do it now, Reach. I mean,
cool. Come on, babe.
Don't, get up and just do it.
Let me help.
See, that's it.
Then he passed away?
Now you look, see? Now you look.
You know what? It makes you feel different.
Don't you feel better?
Yeah. Enough's enough.
But see, the cuffs have to hang down. You gotta. It's
Let it all hang out. I've always said that.
Well, not all, but enough.
Tell me about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey. I started singing when I
forgets
was
you from
3 years
Jersey.
old.
When you were 3 years old.
Yeah, and in musical theater and acting at about 7.
And that's your first love, still singing.
Singing is still my first love, yeah.
As a matter of fact, we have a clip of you singing, don't we? According to
Yeah,
these
my
notes.
mother embarrassed me. I know she
Now let's
did.
see. At 6
That's
years
why
of
God
age,
made mothers.
That's right.
you won a talent contest singing a remarkable interpretation of Billie Holiday's "God Bless the Child."
I want a car.
At 6?
Yeah.
I had an attitude. I wanted the second prize. It was a TV.
Yeah, right. 6-year-old kid. What are you going to do with a car? But I guess your family
Sell it and
liked
buy a couple of TVs.
That's right.
Well, can we take a look at that clip?
Oh, I guess.
Now, we're not going to embarrass you, are we?
Yes, you are, but go
Oh,
ahead.
let's play it anyway. Here's Tisha Campbell at 6, winning the big contest.
It wasn't too bad though. For 6, that's not bad.
All right. You know what? I had the same head. I the same head I grew into my head. You see, it has not changed.
So, very nice head.
But you must have been an accomplished singer. I mean, starting out at 3, 6, you won the TV contest, then a lot of off-Broadway shows.
Yeah, Really Rosie and Mama I Want to Sing and a lot of things.
Mama I Want to Sing was a wonderful show.
That played around town for a long time, didn't it?
Yeah,
tremendous hit.
Yep. So I started doing that first.
And then House Party?
Started doing movies. Actually, Little Shop of Horrors was the first movie I did. And then House Party and Boomerang and, I can't.
The list is in.
And you worked with Spike Lee, too?
List goes on.
That's right.
Spike just got married.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. Were you surprised at that?
No, I don't know.
What, he's not
I just work with
But
the
I mean,
guy.
sometimes guys who are in their 30s, you know, become almost professional bachelors,
I think
you know?
I would like to get married about 30, 32.
You don't start to know yourself as a woman till you're at least 30. I'm
See, and
convinced of
I
that.
don't even want to have kids until then.
Well, that's a good idea, too.
I wonder where I hope my boyfriend isn't watching this.
Now, you played Martin's girlfriend twice before, and didn't he say to you, when I get my own series, baby, I'm taking you with me?
You know what it was? We did House Party together, and we were friends. I mean, the whole cast, we've been friends for years. Tashina and I, who plays Pam on the show, we've been friends for since we were 12 years old. Martin, I've known him for years, and he would always say, you gonna play my girlfriend? And I was like, yeah, sure. Right, Martin, But he really, I know,
He meant that.
I used my whole face when I talk. But he made his promise, and
So he called you after he got this series?
he was doing the series. He said, I want you for the series. And I was like, I had to think about it because I had a prior commitment. But it was a gut feeling, so I chose to do this show.
Sure.
And it turned out to be a good thing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Now we have a scene to show
Watch
you,
3
you and
seasons.
Martin
Okay.
in action here, trying to resolve an earlier Do you guys argue a lot on the show?
On the show,
Yeah.
as characters, yes.
Yeah.
Like in real life.
What is the main
it's-
conflict between you and Martin on the show?
It's a battle of the sexes. Basically, that's what the show is all about. You know?
That battle
It's like you and me, Regis.
That never
it's
ends.
the story of Regis and Kathy.
Yeah.
Basically, you know.
It never ends.
Never.
She never gets tired. All right, shall we take a look at this clip? Here's a scene from Martin.
You have a wonderful face.
Oh, God.
My acting is my entire face.
What are you going to do? You know what? You're a terrific actress, and you're very funny, and you got a great singing voice. Come
That's a
on.
fact.
Well, Hollywood's going to say you got to decide on something. Is it going to be comedy? Is it going to be drama? Is it going to be musical?
No, they can't tell me what to do. I just love doing it all. I can't choose. I'm sorry.
But I love that expression. I think I'll go home and say to the wife, give me some wet mouth.
Nah, what the
Do that, please.
Some of both.
Give me a
yo?
wet hand.
Look at that. Give me some
It might
wet
work.
mouth.
It might work.
You've tried
Who knows?
everything
Hey,
else.
Who knows?
you know,
I'm telling you, it's tough around here, Tisha.
You know.
Old school shit. Yeah, give me some wet
Thank
mouth.
God you're only play acting. I'm fighting for my life here.
Yeah.
at home and at work, right?
Everywhere,
Poor
everywhere I
baby.
go.
Oh.
All right, so Martin is on the Fox television
Sunday
network
night
Sunday
at
night
8
at 8 o'clock, and it is a big hit.
I didn't even know that joint was on Fox, to be
It's a
honest.
light meeting
Thank
day.
you. Keep this up.
Great to meet you.
We'll be right back in a moment.
I didn't even know that joint was on Fox because I was not watching that joint on Fox.
As the series progressed, Martin eventually moved on to become the host of the talk show Word on the Street. He retained this position until the series' final episode, in which he and Gina prepared to move to Los Angeles, from where his show would be syndicated nationally. The move coincided with Gina's promotion by her boss, Mr. Whitaker, to head up his company's new Los Angeles headquarters after having shut down the Detroit office. Gina's best friend Pam, whom Whitaker let go 2 episodes earlier due to this consolidation and downsizing, went on to pursue a career in the music industry as an A&R at Keep It Real Records. Now, some quick tea. In this storyline of Pam leaving to become an A&R for a record company, that was actually the subject of a series that was going to be called Going for Mine. It was going to star Tashina Arnold, but the show never materialized. So at the series end, Cole prepared with his girlfriend Shanice, and they made plans to move into their own place. So in May of 1997, Martin was over. So what happened? Now, it all started a year earlier. Martin's career was flourishing. Successful movies such as Bad Boys and A Thin Line Between Love and Hate led him to be known as one of the top comics in America. But his personal life was spiraling out of control. In August of 1996, he was arrested for carrying a loaded handgun in a suitcase at Hollywood Burbank Airport. And months before, he had been detained by police for wandering into traffic and screaming obscenities.
I got a question. Might be dumb to some, but why do people be thinking they can get like a handgun or just a gun in general through the airport without getting caught? I just want to know. I don't know. It just be fucking with my head when I hear like, yo, somebody got caught with a gun at the airport. Where did you think he was? Well, how far did you think he was gonna get with it? That's just my question.
In a Sherman Oaks, California neighborhood. Now, while no charges were filed in either case, the energy around Martin was overshadowing his talent. Fox Entertainment president attempted to quiet the controversy surrounding him by putting out a press statement that read, "The show is called Martin, and he has proved that he is capable of handling the show. Whatever is happening off the set is not affecting the show."
Right.
But of course it was affecting the show. How could it not? But just how much is the question.
We had an amazing thing on Martin. You know, we came to work to laugh every day. Like Martin, just his comedic brilliance was, intoxicating. Like when he was doing a scene, you just ran out of your dressing room and you wanted to watch it because you knew it was going to be funny because you didn't know what he was going to do.
What makes us so
unpredictable.
Funny, everyone you see up here. We work hard. I mean, on every script, each and every individual to make the whole script come together as a whole.
Unfortunately, Martin, you get to a certain place in stardom where, okay, he was no longer part of the cast, but he was the executive producer, and now that distance started being created, between the two. And, the network has a lot to do with that as well. They take care of the star, and then everybody else is a piece of shit. That's just how it goes down. And, you embrace being a piece of shit. But Martin, unfortunately, show business at a certain point in his life got the best of him. And when that happens, you see it happening. And there's nothing you can do about it. You pray for that person. It's almost like watching a car crash that you can't stop. So when
That's a great way to explain it.
And Tisha had their bout, what I always respected about the both of them, neither of them made me feel uncomfortable. Right before Tisha left the set, because she had to, it got to that point, and I understood it. It's just like the Matrix. It was like, you could hear silence. It was just very surreal.
Now, allegations of sexual harassment soon followed from Tisha Campbell, who made headlines in November of 1996 for these claims. In 1997, she filed a lawsuit against Martin Lawrence and the show's producers for sexual harassment, verbal and physical assault. Her lawsuit stated that already being a sexual abuse survivor, she had grown increasingly uncomfortable on set.
So it was a babysitter, somebody very close to us.
I heard this story too.
He was watching me and my brothers. And I remember us watching TV, and I was a yeller. I can't remember which brother had a butter knife, but to me it was a knife. And I said, "Put that knife down." And the babysitter said, "I told you if you yell one more time, you're gonna get it." So I thought I was getting a spanking. He said, "Get in the room." And I remember it being really dark. And I remember him saying, "Lay down and take your clothes off." And he left the room for a second. And I was so scared, I was shaking. And I remember him bringing back Crisco. I can't smell Crisco to this day. It makes me sick. My stomach.
What's Crisco?
The shortening. And I remember him using it on himself. I remember the smell of it. I can't stand it. And
what's Crisco?
So I remember it wasn't I was too small in the front. And so he turned me over. And I remember my spirit escaping my body and hovering over and watching what was happening.
Yo, I gotta take a few seconds. This shit is fake emotional, son. Like, damn, like that's crazy. Hopefully a nigga don't start crying this shit on camera. That shit'll be embarrassing.
And I felt myself hurl myself into a corner and ball up. And I think I blacked out. Because the next thing I remember was the pain, and I was back in my body, if that makes sense.
Out of body experience, low key
And
type.
I remember limping
you know?
out of the room and being really, really, really quiet. And my brothers were acting up, and usually I would be handling them or helping to handle them. And
You couldn't even
I just
focus.
didn't. I just watched TV, and I remember feeling really numb in not, if that makes sense. And I remember limping out of the room and being really, really, really quiet. And my brothers were acting up, and usually I would be handling them or helping to handle them. And I just didn't. I just watched TV, and I remember feeling really numb in not physically, but numb spiritually.
And when that happens to your child, it never, ever, ever goes away. You know.
The next morning, I was still kind of
out of it,
limping.
Oh.
And I remember my dad saying, "What's wrong with you? Why are you limping like that?" And I said the babysitter's name, and I said he put his thing inside me. And I knew that, I was like, he'll handle it. My dad will handle it. My mom was a little bit more passive at the time. And she was young, you know? At that time, I think my mom was 18, 19.
I didn't even know how to react, how to respond.
And I remember him yelling and screaming.
Man, I don't even want to get. I keep pausing it because I'm trying not to get freaking emotional. Son, is it like this is like, and this is why like I hate when some females lie about stuff like this happening to them, because that's not funny. That's not something you say or try to use for attention in any type of way, shape, fashion, or form. Like that's just weird. Like I've came across people who said this for attention, and that's not cool. Like that's not cool at all. But you know, my heart goes out to those that this actually really happened to, because a lot of people never really feel the same physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and go through it like for most of their life after something like that happens to them. So my heart definitely goes out to y'all.
And my mom's shaking. And then they gathered the whole family. And I remember going from family member to family member, tell me what happened, tell me what happened, tell me what happened. But I think the worst part of it was nothing ever happened to, no consequences ever happened to him. So I grew up thinking nothing bad happens to bad people.
She said that Martin Lawrence had made sexual advances towards her, and the advances had increased as the seasons progressed. According to Tisha, her and Martin's problems began in the first season when she consistently refused to go on dates with him. By the second season, Tisha said that Martin had become increasingly manic and volatile and would fly into uncontrollable fits of rage for no apparent or rational reason. These alleged behaviors reportedly worsened when Tisha became engaged to Dwayne Martin. The lawsuit also claimed that Martin threatened to fire cast members and would inappropriately touch Tisha and others when they weren't rehearsing or filming scenes. Now, by the 5th season, things had allegedly become so out of control that Tisha felt terrified and concerned for her safety. She said that she pleaded with the show's writers to cease writing bedroom scenes by season 5. Tisha alleged that HBO executives and HBO Independent Productions had long-standing knowledge of the abuse, yet neglected to take action. Now, because nothing was done, Tisha had no choice but to announce that she was leaving the show. But Martin denied all of the claims, and in January of 1997, he put out a statement that read, "Martin has long been Tisha's champion and protector, and is thus deeply hurt by these allegations." Now, due to these claims, Tisha did not appear in most of season 5's episodes. The explanation for most of the episodes that she did not appear in was that Gina was out on business. But in the 2-part episode called Going Overboard, it was stated that Gina had arrived too late to board the boat for the trip alongside everyone else.
Episode.
So that the show's last season could be completed, HBO Studios settled the case with Tisha. Tisha returned to the Martin set to film the 2-part series finale of the show under the condition that she would not share any scenes with or interact in any way with Martin. In the episode, Martin and Gina kept entering and exiting the sets at different times, and the storyline was adjusted so that the characters were both part of it but never crossed paths. Now, even Reginald Ballard, who starred as Brubman on the series, spoke with Vlad TV in June of 2019 about the changes on set and behind the scenes. He said, "Not only could they not be in the same room, I don't even think they could be on the lot together at Universal. If Martin was on the lot at Universal, she couldn't be there. If she was there, he couldn't be there." As far as what led to the issues between Lawrence and Tisha, Reginald said that he's not sure. He maintains his interactions with the cast were minimal and that he didn't have any personal relationships with any of them outside of filming. However, Reginald admitted that he heard rumors of Tisha and Martin's issues and says it was tense on set as a result. When specifically asked about the sexual harassment claims, he said, "I don't know. People ask me that all the time. Only thing I know is when they say action, just chilling. And when they say cut, it's see y'all tomorrow. I don't know what went down between those two. I was on the outside looking in because I wasn't a regular character. I was a recurring character." So now it has been 22 years after Martin was taken off the air. Martin Lawrence has finally revealed why the show abruptly ended. In a recent interview with GQ magazine, Martin admitted that the show ended as a result of the sexual harassment lawsuit that was brought against him by Tisha Campbell. He confirmed in the GQ interview that the lawsuit against him claimed that he was obsessive and that Tisha experienced physical and emotional abuse at the hands of Martin, including repeated and escalating sexual harassment, sexual battery, and violent threats. Now, Martin still denied these allegations, and when the GQ interviewer said, "You did the show for 5 seasons, right? How come it ended?" Martin's response was this: "Well, how can I say this? It just was time to end. Let's just put it that way. It was just at that time there were some things that was just said that you talking about Tisha's lawsuit, right? Yeah, because none of that was true. It was all a bunch of bullshit, and just whoever's side it was bullshit. We don't need to talk about something that just didn't happen. So I just decided to walk away from the show. I just decided to end it. People said that I got canceled, but that wasn't the case. I decided to just leave the show." And apparently there is no bad blood between them because Martin and Tisha reconciled after Tisha filed for divorce from her husband, Dwayne Martin, in February of 2018. After not speaking to Martin since the last day of the show, Tisha says that Martin called her on the phone and she said, I hadn't seen him since the last day of the show, and I literally screamed. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy to talk to you. Tisha says that the two got to talk, apologize, love on one another. We were laughing at the end of it. We got to start appreciating everything that we've all been through. That's what I think really life is all about. You go through these dark moments, and at the time, you don't really realize that it's something that is needed to uplift you and make you bigger and better. But after Tisha heard about Martin's GQ interview, and
make sure y'all stay to the end. I got something very, very important to tell y'all.
Which he denied the sexual harassment claims, she appeared on the talk saying that despite being caught off guard when she heard about Martin's response, her relationship with him is still all good. She said, I can't go into much detail about the past because there was a confidentiality agreement, so the gag order says no. But what I can say is I was actually kind of shocked. And she added that some people wanted her to not address the comments, and then other people encouraged her to clap back. And she says, so I hit Martin up. He called me within a minute and he was like, don't read into what it is. There's a lot of people that's trying to bring up the past and trying to make it news today. But you know, T, we good. I love you and I love your family. She said, again, I'm not going to go into details because I want to respect his privacy and I want to respect mine. But I will say by the end of it, it was nothing but laughter and healing. And I got a chance to experience that. And I'm so glad we're in a good place right now. Now, after that, Martin took to his Instagram and shared a heartwarming message to Tisha saying, regardless of the past or any misrepresentation of it in the press, I have nothing but love for Tisha then and now. He captioned it with an old photo of him and Tisha, and it said, we are good and always will be. There is no denying that Martin was an iconic show. It is definitely one for the culture. Now, I'm interested in hearing what you think about this. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. Until next time, this has been another video.
That's going to wrap up this video, but what I had to tell you is, I'm sorry I lied to you, Martin. I just didn't want to go to Arizona. No, stop. I appreciate y'all for the love and support. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep going crazy. 10 plus videos a day, Monday through Friday. You know, if it didn't take so long for the videos to process, I'd be going way more crazier. I'd probably do 20 videos a day if it didn't take the videos, you know what I'm saying, so long to process. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for the love and support. Love is love, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next video.